Okay. So the button always comes on and says live before we're live. And the only way I can tell for sure if we're live is by looking on my phone. And oh, there we are. We are live. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be with you. Welcome back. It's Tuesday, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, midnight in England, and 1 a.m. here in Poland. And welcome. It's another Tuesday Facebook Live, and we're really blessed. We've got a good friend of Marcy and I's, Julie Matthews, and Julie is an expert in the world of autism and supporting families of children with autism. So we're going to bring Julie on. Well, she's here actually. Hi, Julie. Hi.
Hello, so good to see you.
Thank you, and thanks so much for being with us today. It's really great, very excited about this topic. And I'm going to start us off. I'm going to share my screen for a minute and show everybody a slide from a presentation that I've been giving lately, because this slide really says it all. So Julie, you tell me when my slide comes up, okay?
I got it. It's
got
here.
It? Okay, so this is the slide that I want everyone to see. Now, when I came out into practice in 1980, it was one child out of every 10,000 that was on the autism spectrum. Now we see from the Centers for Disease Control, it's 1 in 59. And Julie, I think you may have some even more accurate estimates than that, but, and I'll ask you in a minute, but I want everybody to see this slide first, that this is an exponentially increasing problem that I know Dr. Stephanie Seneff at MIT tells us that within less than 10 years, it'll be 1 child in 2 on the autism spectrum. So Julie, are those numbers that you've heard before?
Those are pretty accurate numbers from everything that I've seen. In fact, when I started this, it was 1 in 350, but you're right. When I was a child, it was about 1 in 10,000. So, you know, that is, the pattern is clear, unfortunately.
Yes, yes, and it's a horrific pattern. So what we want to talk about here today is to give everyone a sense of where is this coming from and what might be the approach that people can take, and future parents. What can future parents do about this? That's a really important topic.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, it's not just important for people with autism. It's important for all of our children, whether they have ADHD or anxiety or certain behavior issues or learning issues. In the end, we just want them to be healthy and happy and functioning to their optimum potential. And so really, in some level, the diagnosis doesn't matter because we're still dealing with underlying inflammation and digestive issues and detoxification over, you know, burdens and all of these things. And so when we work on these systems, we can help anybody, regardless of their diagnosis.
Yes, yes, right on the money there, right on the money. Now, you recently have been involved in a research project that went on for quite a while, and that's just been published. And first, congratulations on the publication. That's really great.
Thank you.
And I know it was a lot of work. Can you tell us about that research project and what it was about?
Absolutely. So as you're right, this research, it took us about 5 years from the time we started it till the time it gets published. And, you know, it takes even longer for it to trickle down to recommendations done in healthcare and things. But we are thrilled. It was 6 interventions. We looked at a multivitamin mineral formula, essential fatty acids, digestive enzymes, a variety of things, including a healthy gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free diet. And we put all of those things together and followed them for a whole year because really 2 things. One is nutrients work synergistically and diets and nutrition work synergistically. And that's really realistically what families are going to do. They're not going to treat their child like a science experiment and do 1 thing a year for, you know, as we go. So it was really what makes the most sense. And we wanted to see if we'd see synergistic benefits.
Yes, yes. And when you say synergistically, can you explain a little more what that means?
Absolutely. So if you just take, vitamin C, for example, an orange has vitamin C, as we all know, but it also has, I think, 161 other cofactors that help the absorption of that vitamin C. So we can't just take a nutrient in isolation, a single one, and try to study that thing, or even try to study multivitamins, because again, they're going to work synergistically with our fat intake and our protein intake, and all of these things from our diet and maybe our supplementation are going to make up our nutritional intake, and they all work together to help make us healthy.
That's always more important. Food is more important than any one extract. Sometimes the extracts can be of great value, but the compounds in an entire food are much more balanced. I need to do a couple of shout outs here. Tammy Corbin's here from Germany, Kelly's in Indiana, and Naomi's in the house, 2.5-year-old Naomi. Hi, Naomi. Hi, honey. I'm so glad that you're watching. Thank you so much, you and your mom. That's really nice. Misty's in the house. Donna Grant says, low-free T3 hypo during pregnancy. I'm assuming you're asking, Donna, if that can be a contributor to the development of autism in children. And the answer is yes, it can. Yes, it can. If mom, here's a pearl, if mom has elevated antibodies to thyroid, whether TPO or thyroglobulin antibodies during pregnancy, those IgG antibodies go into baby in the 8th and 9th month of pregnancy. So, because mom is prepping baby's immune system for the world baby is coming out into. So if mom's immune system is also fighting some things for herself, turns out that she's got an autoimmune mechanism like thyroid or brain, then baby gets those IgG antibodies during pregnancy. And so baby comes out with a little bit of a deficit immediately. Oh, Ann Darcy's in the house in Tipperary. Hi, Ann. Nice to see that you're here. Thank you so much. And Anita is in Liechtenstein. That's really, thank you, Anita. I've never been to Liechtenstein, not yet anyway. Carol says we need to ban glyphosate and stop the dangerous vaccines. Well, I'm with you on both of those fronts, Carol. Absolutely, that would be of great value. Misty says, I'm sharing this video with my Facebook group called Scleroderma and Functional Medicine. We're eager to learn from both of you. Thank you, Misty, and thank you once again for being such a great support. And Gabriella says, great topic, Dr. Tom. As usual, you keep us informed with the info you share and the awesome guests from the south of Peru. Thank you, Gabriella. It's so great to see people are here from all
Peru, one of my favorite places.
Yeah. I haven't been to Peru yet. I haven't been to Peru. Lori Parker says, hi, Doc. And Anita says, well, you have to come one day. All right, Anita, that's a great comment, and I'll take that. I'm actually putting more attention now on carrying this functional medicine concept to Europe. So as groups invite me to different areas, we're going, let's see, where are we going? We're going back to London in June and Italy in November for presentation. So we're open. I'm open to talk all throughout Europe. So that's really great.
Great.
Really great. So Julie, tell me a little more about your research project. What did you guys find out in the research project that you did?
That's the exciting part, which was that we found an almost 7-point increase in nonverbal IQ, which is huge. 7 points in IQ is really something meaningful. Yeah. And when we look at development, we got 4.5 times the development. So in a year, you'd expect a year of development from a typically developing child. But in children with a developmental delay, you'd expect a delay. So we saw a delay in the control group, which was, they gained about 4 months of development in that year. But the treatment group gained 18 months of development in that 12-month span.
Wow. And that's just by controlling the foods that the children were given. Is that right?
It was 5 different sort of supplement regimes and the healthy diet. So it was the multivitamin, the fish oils, and a bunch of other things, including carnitine and Epsom salts, along with the healthy diet. And that's when we saw these gains. We also found, of course, improvements in gastrointestinal symptoms, improvements in anxiety, depression, sociability. Almost every single category we looked at, there was improvement. And it didn't matter if it was a 3-year-old or a 58-year-old man, they both got benefits. So we know it can help no matter how old you are.
Wow. So let me see if I've got this now. So when someone is delayed in development, they are averaging 4 months per year of development skill.
Yeah, and this group of people with autism, yeah, they were gaining about 4 months of skills, in this year. So you sort of
in a year, whereas a person who was not delayed would gain a year of skills in a year.
Yes.
So these people that were gaining 4 months of skill per year, when you put them on this regimen of changing the foods they were eating, giving them fish oils, giving them a multiple vitamin, giving them what else?
Multi-fish oil, digestive enzymes. Carnitine. Epsom salt baths.
And
then the healthy diet.
And
healthy, gluten-free, casein-free, soy-free.
Then they gained 18 months of developmental increase in 1 year.
Exactly.
Wow.
They started catching up.
Do you get that, everyone? And this is published. And Julie, is that paper available to people to read?
Absolutely. It is open access. You can read the whole thing.
Okay.
It's in the Journal of Nutrients.
Okay. So they, how would they find that for people?
Yeah,
that don't know how
a couple things. They can go to my website, nourishinghope.com. There's a link right there. But
Perfect.
they also can just type in, it's called Comprehensive Nutritional and Dietary Intervention for Autism Spectrum Disorders. So, but if you can look up my name as well, or you can look up the lead author, which was James Adams, and he was our lead researcher.
Marvelous. Congratulations on that work. And that is a huge impact factor in terms of how we can help these people. So a shout out to Beppy Tan in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Hello, Beppy. Thank you for your comments. And Dorinda's in sunny San Diego. Dorinda, I'm from Encinitas. I spent the last 9 years in Encinitas, so I love San Diego. Carmelina is here. Beppy says nourishinghelp.com. Is that your site, Julie?
Yeah, Nourishing Hope. Yeah.
Oh, nourishinghope.com. Great. And so someone's asking, Anthony's asking if we can share the link. Marzi will post the link here for everyone so that you've got it. Anita says, great heart. The holistic way is not very well known in Europe. By the way, I'm one of your students and a proud gluten practitioner. Way to go. Way to go, Anita. Thank you so much. And what country are you in Europe? Tell us more about that. And so one of the questions, Julie, that I wanted to ask you is about this program that you've put together as a result of the energy around this research project. Can you tell us about your program?
Absolutely. So I actually have been working with families with autism for about 17 years. So this research project is one of the kind of many things that I've done over the years to figure out kind of what's the best approach to help people. And it's actually not only with autism. It can be, as we said earlier, it could be ADHD, it could be anxiety, it could be adults with autoimmune issues. But really here, the program is focused on children, and usually children with some sort of a neurological, neurodevelopmental delay. It could be Down syndrome or ADHD or autism or that kind of thing. That's really what I built the program for. And what I have done is taken approaches that I've done that I've found successful. What I've learned is that there's no one approach that helps everybody. Not everybody needs the exact same diet or the exact same supplements. So I developed what I call a bio-individual nutrition approach. So what I do is I take parents through a step-by-step approach on the first half, which is solid essentials, and the second half, which is figuring out which special diet they might need and what benefits they might gain along the way. So I have included some things that we learned in the study, as well as things we've learned in many studies as we've gone along here, and kind of put them together for parents to follow so they could make changes no matter where they happen to be in the process.
Marvelous, marvelous. And Marzi will post the link here for that program for everyone. So for those who are interested, they'll know where to go to learn more about it. A shout out to Lynn Johnson in South Australia. It's 8:30 a.m. Wednesday morning. Well, it's a nice way to start the day with us. Way to go. Hi, Lynn. Thank you for being here. Let's see. And Anita said she's from Liechtenstein and a holistic consultant. Way to go, Anita. Sorry if that was you earlier from Liechtenstein. I didn't remember the name, but glad you're here. Thank you so much. So I think some of you here know that we've just begun. We had the first session last night, Begin the Base Hits. And I'm doing a 4 Monday Facebooks. No, it's not Facebook, it's Zoom. It's a private Zoom group, 4 Mondays in a row. And it's really to give people the skill set to how do you take in all of this information? What do you do? Because it's so overwhelming, all the information that we're getting exposed to. Great programs like Julie's and many others that are out there, some of our programs. How do you hold the information? So look, last night was the first, and it's recorded, and people have lifetime access to it once they register for it. And next week is going to be on toxicity and detoxing. What does that mean? What are some basic principles of this, of all the detox programs out there? How do I know if I need more vitamin C or glutathione or both? All of that kind of stuff. The following week is on inflammation, where the triggers to inflammation come from. How do you calm down the inflammatory cascade? And the last Monday is going to be heal and seal the gut. So I'm doing these 3 sessions. Last night was how do you get started with this? And it's available at theDr.com / Marzi will post it, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Marzi will post it. It went really well, you know, and what I've learned is that people are so overwhelmed and there's so much information, and they'll start with something, and if it doesn't give them great results in a really short period of time, they go to the next thing. And then they go to the next thing, and they're getting some benefits, but not really nailing it down. So I put this together so people can really understand the big picture. And it's a $297 course, but we made it $197. So for those of you that are interested, it's Begin Base Hits, I think it's called. Marzi will publish the link. The feedback has been remarkable for it, so that you have the developed skill set to take in information like Julie's program, or my friend Mark Hyman's Broken Brain 2 and the program that's coming out of that, or the program on cardiovascular disease from Mark Mendocino, my friend Dr. Mark Mendocino, or the thyroid program from Dr. Isabella Wentz. You know, there's so many great programs out there. How do you hold all of this? What do you do? I mean, how can you implement and make it successful? So that's what Begin the Base Hits program is about. And Marzi will post the link for you there here on the site.
Great.
One of the questions I have for you, is there one diet that you recommend more than others?
That's a great question. So, you know what I learned early on in my practice is that, you know, there's always a new diet that's coming out, right? First it was gluten-free, casein-free, which are still really solid principles. But then it went to certain, you know, the GAPS diet, then the paleo diet, then there's the keto diet, and every diet is the diet that everybody needs right now. And, you know, as I said earlier, I've learned that there is really no one diet that works for everybody. Some people do amazingly well on a gluten-free and dairy-free diet, and some people really do benefit from a keto diet or whatever might happen to be. So I really try to figure out which diet does which person need. So I look at what symptoms do they have? What foods do they crave? What foods do they eat most of? What do their labs look like? You know, how do we figure out which diet someone needs? And I do a lot with symptoms so that parents can figure out for themselves kind of which direction they might like to go. I mean, if you ask me, generally speaking, where I might start, it'd probably be after a healthy diet would probably be a gluten-free and dairy-free diet. But after that, there is really no one diet that I would recommend. I would really say the diet that you need is the right diet for you.
Right, exactly. And then how do you figure that out? And step by step, but there is some things like next week in my talk that I'll do about detoxification. Many people have genetic vulnerability to not detoxing very well, but there are a number of major pathways, and somebody may have an insufficiency or deficiency in one pathway.
Exactly.
That may affect their detox capabilities on a huge scale. And so sometimes people need to do the test to see what are the genetic vulnerabilities. And we'll talk about that.
And that's actually a really good one for the kids with ADHD. There is a detox pathway called sulfation. And they get a lot of hyperactivity and irritability from artificial ingredients and these compounds called salicylates. So it's one of the things, and that's exactly right. Some people just have that vulnerability, or maybe they have dysbiosis, and that dysbiosis starts depleting that pathway. So now you got a hole in your bucket. And so maybe something you might have been able to process, you can't process well. So how do you repair the hole in the bucket, and how do you avoid the foods for a little while until you can come back to them? And so that's absolutely, a big factor in autism and ADHD.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. Marzi just came in and she walked in here and she said, she saw me licking my glasses and then wiping them on my shirt. She's like, what are you doing? You're on camera. And I said, there's a big glob of something on my glasses. What am I going to do? You gotta. So Lori says, do you have any recommendations for free resources in dealing better with stress? My daughter has RA-like symptoms, and stress seems to be a big part of it. Thanks. And Julie, I'm going to ask you about that in a moment. But before I do, I want to just comment on stress and rheumatoid arthritis. That I really enjoy rheumatoid patients who are ready and tired of being in pain and ready to do what it takes. And the ones who do lip service to being ready and who really aren't ready are the ones that don't get well. And I don't mean that offensively to anyone, but if you are in my program and you don't get well with a good functional medicine approach, I can tell you what a major thing is. Rheumatoid arthritis patients are often really angry about something in life, and they're unable to express their anger in a healthy way, so they hold it in. If you have an emotional upset and you can't express it and you hold it in, where do you hold it? You have to hold it somewhere. Where do you hold it? Some people hold it in their muscles. Some people hold it in their joints. Some people hold it in their liver. Some people hold it in their gut. That wherever our tendency is to hold unfulfilled emotions that we can't let go of, that accumulates and it triggers a whole chemical pathway. I elaborate on that in this book, You Can Fix Your Brain, quite a bit. I talk about the pyramid of health, that I see health really as a pyramid. A pyramid has 4 sides. No, it has 3. No, it has 4. There's a base, and then there's 3 sides, right? The base is your structure. And any chiropractor will tell you, sometimes you get the darndest results when you fix the structure. I have seen MS get better when you fix the structure, and rheumatoid get better. You see the darndest things get better sometimes if the structure out of balance is the primary trigger to that dysfunction. The next side of the pyramid is the biochemistry, and everyone knows about biochemistry. That's the drugs that we take, the nutrition we take, the diets we do, the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food that we eat, all of that. The next side is the emotional or spiritual. We call that stinking thinking, that it can have the impact for any disease. And there's lots of studies on what these stress hormones can trigger in terms of autoimmune diseases or depression or anxiety or rheumatoid or MS or psoriasis or vitiligo. Doesn't matter if that's your weak link. And the last side of the pyramid of health is electromagnetic. That it's these crazy cell phones that we're so dependent on now, that they're emitting these electromagnetic frequencies that are a problem. And never before in the history of humanity have we had to deal with electromagnetic pollution. Last 15 years, it's the first time ever. We really don't have any way of dealing with it, except, as many of you have heard me say before, the only way your immune system can deal with any threat. It treats it just the way our ancestors did. It's a bug, a parasite, a virus, mold, fungus, or bacteria. It's got to be one of the six. Your immune system does not respond to glyphosate any differently than if it's a bug, parasite, virus, mold, fungus, or bacteria. Your immune system does not respond to gluten sensitivity any differently, except that it's a bug, parasite, virus, mold, fungus, or bacteria. That's the only way our immune system can respond. So what we all need to learn is how to reduce the taxing of our immune systems. And rheumatoid patients are notorious for having unfulfilled anger that they're holding in. Now, it doesn't mean that they know about it and they refuse to, they just don't know. They don't know because it could have been from early in life, or where the person was suppressed and they couldn't express themselves. So when you ask for something that's free for your daughter with rheumatoid, it would be, the first thing I would suggest is meditation. 15 to 20 minutes a day, just to get centered in yourself and see what's cooking underneath there. When all the yabba, yabba, yabba of what's going on in our mind stops, just get quiet time, meditation or prayer, mindful walking. It doesn't matter how you do it, but just to quiet the mind down for a little bit and see what starts to percolate, what starts to come up after that. Julie, do you have some suggestions for a free approach to rheumatoid?
I do. I mean, I think those are all great ideas. And it's interesting because the sixth step of my program is self-care, and usually I'm thinking for the mother, but also of course for the individual as well. And so you're right, it could be painting, it could be, sometimes I have a hard time with meditation because my mind is really busy, but like you said, like mindful walking is easier for me. So figuring out what works for you. And I have a good friend who does a lot with tapping, Amy Stark. And so tapping can be a good thing. It's so easy to do. And so I think those are all great ideas.
You bet. You bet. Thank you. Thank you for that. Rita says, hey, Dr. Tom, I think you missed my initial post. Julie, thank you for making a difference in the autism world.
Thank
my
you.
My autistic son, Jordan, last year went through GI map tests, multi-parasites, overgrown bacteria, et cetera, changed his diet and supplements, and he is a changed boy. Yay. So in the moment, brain fog is gone, interested in mainstream school, has friends, asks questions. He's 8 now and was diagnosed at 2.5. This past year has been life-changing.
That's incredible. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Does she want to share anything in particular that in this that she found helpful? It's always good to know. Great question. So Rita, if you have something in particular you want to share, bring it up, girl. And I will read it here. Or any questions about, anything. It's great that you're here. Thanks for sharing that. Yes. So you've said that your program is not just focused on autism, but it's attention deficit also, or brain dysfunction of any type, and not just for kids, but also for adults. Can you give us an example of someone who's gone through and what they've noticed as a result? Oh, sure. Gosh. Oh my goodness. There's so many different things. Where do I want to say? Sometimes it's one aspect of it, right? Like people that have gotten really great benefit from just the diet portion. I had a little boy who had no language.